Hello my soil fam, this is Kay of Kayreneesgarden, and I am out here in the garden to give you a little garden tour, you guys. So we are gonna start, I guess we could start right here, like why not? So I'm out here in the main garden, and so I remember sharing with you guys before the grapevines, they have already died back. So what I'm going to be doing is pruning those up before spring so that they have a nice good start, and get all the dead branches off of those. Lord, sorry for the dogs barking. That's the neighbor's dogs. So I usually try to get out here before they start, doing all the barking, but you know how that is. Can't control the dogs. So anyway, down here at the bottom I have a bunch of ginger, and I do have the dwarf blackberries over there. So they're starting to, the foliage is starting to come back in little by little, but yeah, they have died off as well. The ginger, I'm gonna go ahead, most likely I'm gonna go ahead and start pulling the ginger just to see how it's looking. But yeah, it's looking really, really good. So let me get a little bit closer so you guys can see. These leaves have really, you see how tall they've gotten? So that's all the ginger that's hanging out. And then there is turmeric back there as well. So you can tell the difference in the leaves. So these are more narrow leaves. This is the ginger. And the wide leaves back there, right there, that's turmeric. So I didn't even remember I planted that down there. But yeah, there is some turmeric in there. So I'm going to start pulling those. I do have some turmeric and some ginger over in this bed. Okay, so I see the ginger over there in the middle. I do have some carrots still in here. Lemongrass. I think I'm going to go ahead and pull that lemongrass out of there and start chopping it up, and once it dries out, grind it up and all that good stuff so I can make some tea with that. Let's see, this one is oregano, so that one is bushy and it's doing its thing. I still have a cucumber out here. This is the burpless cucumber. It's still putting out cucumbers. So I think there's a couple on here. I know I just pulled a few. Ooh, those white flies are driving me crazy, you guys. But it's still a couple of cucumbers on there. They're small right now, so I'm just going to let them do their thing. As you can see, all the marigold around the chicken's garden died. Goodness, that looks so terrible, but that's part of it, you guys. As soon as fall comes in, certain things just starts dying off. The crazy thing is I have marigold in other parts of the garden, and they're doing just fine, so not sure what's going on there. But the comfrey in here has spread all over the place. My lime is doing pretty good. So I'm going to be fertilizing these trees. Probably I'm going to give them a really good fertilization. Probably I'm going to say maybe mid-November, because usually by December they start putting on flowers and start trying to bud up to get y'all going for spring. So I'm going to do that with those. I did go ahead and get everything off of my guava. That guava was amazing. So the longer you leave the guava on the plant, the sweeter it is. So it has that sweet with the tangy, very delicious. Has that kiwi, strawberry, kind of like a peach texture as well. So anyway, those are amazing. That's the strawberry guava. If anybody was looking to get guava, I love it. I know there were some people that said it had an aroma that they didn't care for. I didn't smell anything, and they were very, very tasty. That's the pomegranate. I still have to figure out that pomegranate, but it's doing all right. These peach trees, yeah, we're gonna have to work on those, but all the foliage is gonna probably come off of those anyway, and then they'll start coming back. So I still have some grapefruit back here. So there's grapefruit here, and on the side over there. This one is blooming out of season. I did do a short on that. Let me move myself out the way. Okay, so these there are some blooms right here and up here, but these are the little apples that are coming in. So there are two little apples here but it's quite a few little blooms in there, and it's more coming on. So it is blooming out of season, but I am not mad at that. And so I researched it to see why it blooms out of season. And I guess because we had that heat wave, and because of the heat wave, when it cooled off, it kind of kicked it back into spring, you know, making it feel like it's in spring. So anyway, they said it's fine, it's doing okay, so I'm not going to worry about it. I still have a lot of things out here. I did have my little seedlings that were that I started indoors, and I put them out into the greenhouse, but I haven't put them out here because these insects are driving me insane. That's why you haven't really seen a whole lot of garden videos, because it's driving me berserk, you guys. Look, but although the garden drives you insane, it is definitely a blessing to be able to come outside and harvest your own food. And technically, if the bugs ain't eating it, you may not want to eat it because there's something wrong. So anyway, I do have some eggplant over here. This one, something was eaten up. I don't know, but something was eating them up. So those are the eggplants over there. I still haven't gotten the eggplant off of there. There are a couple on there, but they're small. Remember, all the leaves had gotten eaten up and everything, and now the foliage is starting to come back in, so we're just going to see how it goes. I'm not worried about it. I did have still those okra plants that are in here. So that's the okra. I still have it on there because I want to use those for seeds. So you see there's one up there, that thing is really woody, and there's one there that's woody. I'm just leaving it there. I'm going to harvest it and get the seeds from it. I do have some celery here, African blue basil. You guys know I love the African blue basil. My lavender, it has grown crazy, so I'm going to prune that up really good, fertilize it. It smells so good, you guys. But I use this inside my chicken coop. It's to ward off pests, and plus the fragrance. It smells so nice. So anyway, I topped off my this walking stick kale. So let's see. You see the foliage at the top, and it's coming all the way down this stalk here, all the way to the bottom. You see all the foliage coming in, so I'm so happy about that. So we're going to see how that goes. This one is another one I was thinking about topping. This one, so love it. This one is kale as well. All these three plants, I had to go ahead and spray that one with BT because it was being chewed up. So that's kale. These are eggplant. That's the Thai long, and as you can see, there are a ton more flowers coming in here. Oh, all these white flies, I tell you. But I mean, it's full of eggplant that's going to be coming in. So I'm gonna have to spray these or dust them or something, because goodness gracious. But anyway, you guys, it's part of the garden game. It's just part of it. So these are more kale plants. I have a ton of kale, as you can see, a ton of kale. So that's all kale. This over here is all kale plants. I do have some sage back here. These are in containers. So this is my sage. I need to come out here and prune it and let it go ahead and dry out so that I can put it in some spice containers so I can have it ready for Thanksgiving. And then here's another sage over here in this container, so I'm going to prune those up most likely this weekend. This one is the Italian basil. It has gone crazy, you guys. It has gone crazy, so I've been pruning it. I've been making teas with it, all kind of stuff. I still haven't messed with my the sweet potatoes, but yeah, it's time for them to come out. That's been in there way too long. That makes no sense, actually. I do have some stevia still over here. So these are stevia. So usually this time of year, I cut them all the way down, kind of to the base there, and just let them come on back up. I have some onions in there. This is stevia as well, so I will be doing the same thing. I'm going to cut it all back. These are mint plants. So this one is basil mint. This is one of the most fragrant, best smelling, best tasting mints ever, that basil mint. the basil and the lemon. And then I think that one is pineapple mint. It looks terrible, but yeah, it's there. So let's back on up. Let me back on up. I have more African blue basil over on this side, so that one is African blue basil. This one is comfrey. This one is just a tomato that was kind of dying off, but it does have some tomatoes on, some tomato flowers on there. So most likely I'm going to pull that tomato plant out. More African blue basil here. Lemon mint over on this side in that little grow bag there. And then we're going to go over on the other side. So let's move on over. So over on this side of the chicken coop, as you can see, all the flowers, like I said, all the marigolds are gone, but it still has some mint out here. So the mint is here. The echinacea died off, but it's still mint going. I've been pruning a lot of that. The collard trees over here, these are the blue collard trees. So since the whatever possum or whatever topped all the collard trees over here on this side, they're doing pretty good. There's a lot of foliage coming in. They're really coming in now really nicely since the weather cooled off. We've been really overcast all week. Been in the low 70s, low to mid 70s, so that's awesome. So I am happy about that. Say hello to the girls. Say hi. That is Blanche and Sadie, and that is Goldie down there. So those are my chicken babies. Let's see, I have the pineapple sage. So I was thinking about moving these. The pineapple sage is so beautiful, and the flavor is amazing. You can use that for tea as well. And those blooms, I love them. So I think I'm going to cut these all the way back. I'm going to cut them all the way back. Not sure. I think I want to move those containers though. I really do. Over here have more African blue basil. As you can see, I love those. Not only do I use it for tea, but it's mostly for a pollinator, and it's beautiful. And it grows all year round. So that's the one basil that I love because it does grow all year round. I do have some onions in this grow bag over here, and this is where I put one of those collard tree cuttings. Let me see. I put a collard tree cutting in there. Doesn't really look all that hot, but we're gonna see. I'm not gonna touch it. I'm gonna leave it till about November and then see if it rooted. If it rooted, then I'll go ahead and put it in a container and keep it moving. So these are some more collard trees. These are the blue collards. These are the purple collards, these tall trees. So these trees have to be about 7 feet tall now, the purple collards, but there are some branches that I do want to cut off. So I am going to cut them, and we just going to pray for the best, because I'm going to put them in some soil and see if they'll root. So that one fell over, so I'm going to cut that one because it's super heavy, and that one started falling over back there. I did kind of put a stake there and hold it, but I'm going to cut that one off, and I'm just going to start pruning some of these branches off. It is a lot of collards on those, so I'm going to obviously harvest those and either blanch them and freeze them or just cook them this weekend. So I still have tomatoes out here. These are the Black Prince tomato plants. These are still looking pretty good. They do have a couple of, dead branches on them, but for the most part, they're still nice and green. They still look good, and they're still putting out tomatoes. So we're going to leave those there. This one is still putting out tomatoes, as you can see. So we're going to leave those in there. Oh, it's quite a few tomatoes in there. This is another African blue. I'm going to prune this one all the way down as well because it is super bushy. But it does bring in those pollinators. I don't know if you guys saw the bees flying around. These are going to come out this weekend. Those were those old corn plants. I left them in there because it was so hot here. I left them to give my plants over here a little bit of shade. I was so upset, you guys. Remember, I had put my sugar snap peas. I had a ton of sugar snap peas. The day that I videoed those and showed you guys, they were looking really good. The very next day I came out here, they were all eaten down. So no more sugar snaps. So I said, you know what? I'm not putting anything out here right now. One, I still have a full garden, and so I'm just gonna wait. This okra, I left it in here because I'm going to use that one for seeds as well. I have my super bush over here. The super bush is still putting out tomatoes. So there's a tomato here, one here, and it still has flowers at the top. And this one has tomatoes on it as well. So I left them, let them do their thing. As you can see, it's starting to grow back up from the bottom, another plant. So, but I do have some onions in here. Those are onion bottoms that, you know, you chop up your onions. I put the onion bottoms in the soil. This is more ginger. So I think this is going to come out. As you can see, the tips are starting to turn brown. So I think I'm going to pull that ginger out. That might be ready. And so yeah, I have the lemon verbena here. I'm going to go ahead and cut that back. I usually will cut it back and let it to give it a good start all over again. So I'm going to do that. It's so much stuff out here to be done, and I have not done any of it because I was so frustrated with them bugs. That is the blood orange tree. I don't know what's going on with that, but we're gonna see if spring I get some doggone oranges. That's the cherry. It looks like all the foliage is falling off of that one, so we're gonna see. But then I see new leaves that look like they may be coming on as well. Yeah, so new foliage coming on. Old leaves, I guess, are falling off. These bushes, this one's gonna come out. I'm taking that whole tree out. Probably gonna put a fruit tree over there. All that mint has died. So the heat, when the heat was in, it killed all that. But it is so many goji berries on this bush. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's loaded full of goji berries. So I cannot wait. I mean, this whole thing is full of goji berries. Remember, I had the fungus on here, and I did the peroxide treatment and burned up the whole thing. And look, it's back and full of foliage, full of goji berries. Oh, here's one over here. So here's one goji berry back here. So this is how they look. And then they have like a tomatoey consistency, but they are pretty good to me. They do have an aftertaste that people don't really care for. I'm gonna go ahead and eat that one. I dropped it, y'all. I guess it wasn't meant for me to eat that, but it does have a little bit of an aftertaste, which I don't really mind. And a lot of the times I'll put it in my smoothies, so it doesn't matter. This is my moringa. I have a couple of them. So this is the dwarf size moringa. So this one gets about 3 feet tall and 4 feet wide. So right now it's in a grow bag. It'll be fine. This one is the full size moringa. So I see some yellowing on these leaves, so I'm probably going to put some Epsom salt in there to give it a boost and calm down some of that yellowing. It'll correct the yellowing. So anyway, they're doing pretty good. My little rose bushes over here, I don't know why I have parsley. There's parsley growing in there with the roses, and you know, with those thorns, it's hard for me to get that out of there. So I've been cutting on it, but we're gonna leave that alone. Remember the last time I showed you guys these roses and they look bright pink? So now they're going into the color that they're supposed to be. Those died off and these are coming in. So it's kind of like a magenta, but these are very fragrant. The avocado, after I pruned it all up, remember the heat was just burning up my leaves. So more foliage is coming in, so it's doing a lot better. I left some of those burnt leaves on there. I didn't cut them all off because I didn't want to shock the tree, but they are coming back in, as you can see. More foliage came in at the top on the mango, and then I see more coming in this little area here. So we're gonna give it some time. I do have some tree covers, so I will be covering up. I'm not quite sure how the mango does when it gets cold. I have to research that, but I know the bananas do not like the cold. So sometimes we will go down into like the 30s when our winter kicks in, like the 38 and stuff like that, and they don't like it. I learned the hard way. It died all the way back, and I thought it was dead, but it wasn't. I just cut it back, pruned it up, and it came right on back up. So this one's, you know, these are going to get pruned. It's about 9 trees in here. So I'm thinking about just getting one of those raised beds and put the ones that I want to keep. I only want to keep like 3. The others I'm going to find people in my area that want the banana. These are the Cavendish banana. This is the dwarf variety. So I'm hoping to get some bananas soon, you guys. This is an overwintered bell pepper from last year. And yeah, you see all these flowers that are coming in. It started dying off with the heat, and then now that it's cooled off, all these flowers on here. So it's about 20 bell peppers coming on that little plant, and it's in a small container, but it did give me some really nice bell peppers. This is all rosemary, and as you can see, the bees are loving this one. So I will be getting some seeds from this. That's all rosemary in that area. This one is the Rosella tomato. Let me move myself out the way. This is the Rosella tomato here, and so it has quite a few little cherry tomatoes on there, so it's gonna stay there. I have my bee balm in this little container here. I think I showed you everything over there. I did. More African blue, basil, so pretty. I just love it. So I have been, you see, I've been pruning these a lot. Normally I let these right here grow super wild and do their thing, but I've been making a lot of tea, so I've been chopping those up quite a bit, pruning them up. I'm still getting bell peppers. So that one is the, I think it's the dragonfly. So it's kind of like a purplish color, and of course purple is my color. So this one right here, you see how the marigold over here is doing just fine, or okay, and so it's still there. This is the Cuban oregano, and as you can see, it's spread all out again. It's doing its thing. So I'm going to get this pruned up. I've been researching different ways to use my medicinal herbs. Use herbs medicinally is what I meant. And so I do know that oregano is an all-natural antibiotic. Also, it can be used as a painkiller. So you can make tinctures and stuff like that with it. So this is going crazy, you guys. So I'm definitely going to be pruning that up and trying to make some tincture just to see how it works. I have a ton of comfrey over here. It's going crazy. All those little babes are getting a lot bigger. And this is my the small fruited tomato, and as you can see, it's spread all over this whole raised bed, and it's still a ton more flowers in there coming in. Doesn't look all that great, but it's gonna be all right. I'm still getting tomatoes. So I have mint in here. I have not planted anything in there yet. Still have these little aloe babes in these containers. These are all blueberries, so I'm still getting a couple of few little pink lemonade blueberries here or there, but it pretty much is done. I have more ginger here, so I'm gonna harvest that as well. I think that is ready. And the hibiscus. So I learned that you can make shampoo with the hibiscus. So this is another blueberry. It's these leaves, you know, in the fall they kind of fall off, and then probably by the end of November it'll start putting on new foliage, and December it'll start budding up and getting ready for spring. So this one is thyme. I need to prune that one up. So the hibiscus, oh my gosh, I was watching a video and they were showing how you can take the leaves and you can just swish them around in water, and it makes like this suds, like a, you can make a shampoo with it. So I'm excited to try that. These are more blueberries. Can't remember the variety because I got them so long ago, but they're done until spring and summer of next year. So these raspberries, I can't even tell you guys. I'm gonna prune them up, fertilize them. It looks like more foliage is coming in, so I'm gonna prune them up, fertilize them, and see if they'll get going again and get healthy. I just don't know. Anyway, you guys, I think that's it for my garden. Oh, and the stuff in my greenhouse. So let me share what's in the greenhouse. I still have stuff in the greenhouse, and I told you I have not put it out because of all these doggone insects. And so I still have the Chinese cabbage in there, the kohlrabi chard, and I can see some yellowing because they need to go out, but if I put them out there, they're just going to get eaten up. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to come out here and spray this weekend and see if I can go ahead and get my stuff out in the garden. But anyway, you guys, enough about my garden. Let's hear about yours. So I hope you guys are dropping seeds in the ground and trying to get your own food growing, whether it be indoors, outdoors, or both. But anyway, I appreciate you guys watching. Thank you. I appreciate your support. Make sure to like, share, comment, subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and I will see you guys in the garden next time. Bye, everyone.